So this is Cross Rhythms. I'm sitting with Jonathan Ogden. Hello.
Hello.
So for those listening, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Jonathan. I'm an artist, songwriter, musician based in Manchester, UK. And I've been making music since I was a kid. Just loved, I used to make comedy songs and remixes.
Okay, yeah.
And then grew up in church. I'm a pastor's kid and got involved in the worship team at my church around age 17, 18. And
Cool.
then that just led me into a journey of writing my own songs. And I've always loved loads of styles. I love jazz and hip hop and electronic music. And so part of my songwriting journey was just, what would it sound like to kind of marry the style of songs that I hear in church with the style that I love and like electronic music and jazz. Just try something a little different. So that's what I've been doing for a number of years.
Yeah, so you said you got kind of your musical start kind of doing the band in church.
Yes.
Was that kind of because you were already playing an instrument and there was like, oh, we're down on this instrument, can you play it for us?
Yeah.
Or was it like, I'm learning to be in the band in church?
It was more kind of getting roped in. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy to do it. I already love music, but very small church. So whoever left the team, I would kind of learn their instrument and try and fill in the gaps. And so, I got to learn the basics of drums and bass and guitar, and then eventually ended up on piano, which is my main instrument now.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. And so obviously from the fact that you go to a church and we're in a worship band, you're obviously a Christian. So can you tell us a little bit about your faith journey and
Sure.
how you kind of came to that?
So I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor and a church leader, and it was just part of life, was kind of going to church on a Sunday and hearing about all the stories of the Bible. But for me, it took a while before it made like a meaningful impact on my life.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of just part of my routine. I was just kind of trying to be a good person and trying to go to church.
Yeah.
And then I think when I became a teenager, I started to really wrestle with some of the bigger questions of like life and why am I here and what's the point of everything. And for me, I found meaning and purpose in the story of the Bible and just the way it spoke about why we were created and that we're here on purpose and here for a reason. And I just realized that I really, on my own, I'm not like capable of living the kind of life that the Bible talks about, but really just through God's grace is the only reason I'm able to do this. And I remember being 15, 16 and being like, okay, this isn't just my parents' faith. This actually like has really impacted my own life.
Yep.
And this is a decision I want to take for myself. So that was the age that I kind of got baptized and kind of became a Christian, and
great.
Never looked back.
So obviously you got your start in kind of playing in the worship band, but obviously you are your own kind of independent musician now.
Yes.
So how did that kind of transition go off? Have you always intended to be a kind of professional artist?
I don't think I ever intended to be a professional artist. And to be honest, I didn't want to be an artist. But I just loved music. I loved making things. I loved the process of creating and coming up with ideas. And it kind of was all happening at the same time. So I was playing in my church, and then in my own time in evenings and weekends, I was just creating my own music for fun, really. And honestly, my big goal was put stuff online so my friends can hear it. And
fair enough.
just share it with anyone that might like it. And it really just grew from there. And I started getting emails from places I'd never been with people saying how much they enjoyed the songs. And just been a gradual build up from there. So I never expected to be here, but I'm very grateful. I love it. So
cool. And so you also are part of this project called Magnify.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. What is it?
Sure. So I run a thing with my friend. It's called Magnify Studio, and it's basically an organization focused on art and faith coming together. And so we like to run workshops and create resources for artists in the church, and just talk about how faith can be a part of the creative process, and how art can be used to express faith as well. And so we've done some specific projects like songwriting courses and gathering workshops in different cities. But the most recent thing we did was create an album of Japanese language worship songs. So we worked with artists in Japan and just brought a team together and helped to capture their songs in their style. And made an album with them called Magnify Tokyo.
Yeah, nice. So tell us a little bit more about kind of how that came to be, because it might seem quite random to have randomly just go to Japan, kind of produce an album.
Of course. So my co-founder, Philip, he's Japanese, and his parents have a church over there in Japan, and we just had the chance to go and visit a few times. And the first time I went, I was really captured by the place and the people, and such a beautiful place, but a place with not many Christians at all. Yeah. And I really was just struck by their appreciation of beauty and art, and just like culturally, it's a place that has such a beauty to everything that they do, and a craft and a just amazing workmanship to all the most simple things. And so I connected with it on an artistic level, and it felt like a place that I just really felt at home, even though it was so different. But also I just had this heart to see the Christians there that maybe felt a little on their own or underrepresented, to have their own songs and have them created and captured in a beautiful way, and not just have to translate other people's songs to their language, but have their own songs to sing. And so, we worked with some Japanese artists, some of them just writing their first songs, and brought a band together, and it's been one of my favorite albums just to make and listen to. And
nice,
even though I didn't understand the lyrics sometimes, but I had to like go through the process of translating and understanding. And it's really just unlike anything I've heard or worked on. So it's been it's been a fun project.
So obviously we're at Creation Fest. You've just done a little workshop, and in that workshop you were talking about kind of the creativity in the church and trying to like marry them back up.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about that kind of. Because you would assume walking into a big church building that they are very creative. You see the stained glass windows and things like that. But actually at the same time, it's not always it's very, all the songs have to be 3 chords. You have to say one line 4 times.
Yeah, I think there's been times where the church has been at the forefront of art and creativity. I mean, cathedrals are a great example. Like stunning buildings that took hundreds of years to create, and just the workmanship that goes into it. And then some of the best music in history, you look at like Handel's Messiah and like classical music that were often signed with like, this is for the glory of God, and like, this is why we made it. These days, I almost feel like we're afraid of creativity to a certain degree, that it's like, it's seen as a bit too experimental, and let's not disrupt tradition of how we do things. But there's a long, rich history of creativity and art being a big part of church and the life of faith. And so I'm just passionate about encouraging that again. And I, as an artist, sometimes felt I don't know how to express my creativity in church. And is it allowed? Is this okay? Or should I be doing this somewhere else? And I just want to be here to encourage people like me that are in church, have these artistic like desires and skills to do things, and just encourage them that like it's good and it's okay, and like this is a place that it can be used, and that your creativity can flourish in that environment of like community and faith. And so I'm just passionate about seeing those things come together and expanding the box of what we think Christian art and Christian music should be, and just getting people to think bigger. So.
And so in the kind of the workshop, you also said that you write Christian music, just not worship music in the kind of traditional sense.
Sure.
And so what would you kind of say is your music, and kind of what inspires it then, if it's not kind of traditional worship song?
Yeah, I think my music, I sometimes joke and say that it's like, if we have Sunday morning music, mine's like Wednesday afternoon music.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of, I'm still expressing worship, and I'm still trying to write songs that for me are like my language of praying to God and trying to talk to God about things, and expressing, love for God and all of that. But I think stylistically it's different, and it's just written in a way that this is my expression of it, created in the way that just feels authentic to me. I love it when it connects with somebody else and they can like join in with that song, but it's not specifically written to like, let's all sing this together. So I think most people are listening to my stuff in the car or putting it on the radio, and more chill hangouts with friends that goes on in the background, stuff like that. So I like kind of soundtracking the midweek life and not just the Sundays.
So. Cool. Well, thank you for sitting with us.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.